Hi, my name's Charlie McGrath. I'm the founder of WideAwakeNews.com and a host on the Rinse Radio Network. This is literally my 10th attempt to make this video because I get so heated when I talk about this topic that never seems to go away, that is ingrained in the fabric of our nation now, which is trading our freedom for a little bit of security and getting neither. You see, last week, at the end of last week, when most people, most normal people with a conscience, right, they're sitting around trying to figure out how they're going to spend time with their family, how they're going to spend time with their loved ones, because that's what normal people do. But when we're not paying attention to what's going on in Washington, D.C., and we're trying to hold on to some normalcy in our life, like our family, like Christmas, we have turncoats in Washington, D.C., working hard to usurp your freedom. National Defense Authorization Act 2014. Once again, the NDAA is in our face if we pay attention to what's happening in DC, destroying the Bill of Rights, destroying our freedom, all in the name of offering us some security for giving up a little bit of freedom. NDAA 2014, the same legislation that we've talked about in the past, freedom killing legislation that turns this nation into a police state, that expands the war on terror to an open ended proposition, that makes the United States a battleground and makes you a potential belligerent actor if so deemed under NDAA. The same legislation is in place, but in 2014, it even gets worse because the Department of Defense gets to create a conflict records research center where they can take captured data, right? Captured data, as we've been talking about for the last year, because of Snowden's revelation, we know the NSA and other spy agencies are capturing everything that happens electronically. The Department of Defense now gets to create a whole new bureaucracy to filter this information through so it can go after people, country, nations, individuals, groups, whatever they deem to be a threat to this nation. And they can take information and hold it indefinitely so they can filter through it later on to find out who did what. It's freedom killing legislation like this that has eroded the Constitution to the point that it's absolutely meaningless. They put a little bit in this year's, they put a little bit more in next year's, and at the end of the day, we end up nothing more than a Stasi style police state, a dominant Stasi style police state that has the boot of the tyrannical government on our back. Now, it might seem innocuous, and there'll be pundits out there that says this is all for protecting us from terrorism. But we need to ask ourselves, are we giving up our freedom for the promise of security? Because we've been warned. Benjamin Franklin warned us. This is how you end up in a tyrannical police state, and you're not going to get either. The NDAA 2014 collects data on people who could potentially be bad actors, belligerent actors against the United States. It says in there foreign countries, foreign individuals, or groups, or organizations, or specifically individuals. Now, we know from prior NDAAs that you could be considered an enemy of this state if so deemed under the under the guidelines of the National Defense Authorization Act. So the NDAA 2014, coupled with prior NDAAs, coupled with the authorization of use of military force that makes the war on terror open-ended and the country of the United States of America a battleground itself, makes any citizen of this nation, any person that's an American, it makes them a potential terrorist against this country, absolutely destroying the NDAA 2014, along with other National Defense Authorization Act, along with legislation that creates organizations and spy agencies and security apparatus. All these things that are being done in the name of providing a little bit of security, we're giving up everything for this promise of a little bit of security. And it's turning this nation into nothing more than a holding cell, waiting for this government to find a reason to pluck you out of it and put you under the spotlight. They've garnered your information. They've garnered your freedom. They've taken the Constitution. They've erased the Bill of Rights, and they're not stopping at NDAA 2014. It's time to wake up and realize the path this country is on. It's time to wake up and in 2014 realize that we're on the path to the ultimate tyrannical police state. Stories are attached. That's all I got.